Yeah, evening everybody. Today I'm actually expanding on a short that I made earlier this morning talking about tithing. The verse that we're currently in is in Mark chapter 12, verse 44. We are actually going to read from verse 41 to 44 to give you more context essentially. And Jesus sat over against the treasury and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury, and many that were rich cashed in much. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which make a farthing. And he called unto him his disciples, and said unto them, Verily I say unto you that this poor widow has cast more in than all they which have cast into the treasury. For they did not cast of their abundance, but she of her want did cast in all that she had, even all her living. See, tithing is so much more about how much money. It's so much more than just how much money can you give, right? Because there's very well a right way to tithe and a wrong way to tithe. And this story again is just another blueprint that Christ gives us to show us the right way to do it. First, let's take a look at the wrong way to do it. In the scripture, I believe verse 41, it says, held how people cast money to the treasury, and many that were rich cast in much, right? So it identifies to us that there were those that came in, and when they were casting in the money, they wasn't casting the money from a point of humility. They weren't casting the money from a point of, Lord, you've done so much for me, this is all I can see to give back. They were casting the money from a point of superiority and greed. See, in their hearts, their love for God was measured by how much money they're able to tithe every day. And that's the thing about tithing. If you're not careful and you don't learn how to tithe properly, tithing could very well hinder your relationship with Christ when it's not meant to be. See, because the people in this passage that were tithing wrong, again, I say it again, when they were giving that money, they were not giving that money from a point of humility. They were giving that money and measuring their love for Christ with how much money they're able to give. Some were measuring their love for Christ with how much money they can amass for themselves. Some was measuring their love for Christ on all the wrong topics. Then when the poor widow came, she gave what? All of her living. See, it's not about the amount of money she gave, but it's about the intent behind it. See, when she was giving all that she had, she was essentially screaming to God, right? That I trust you to provide. Because the scripture tells you, right? Verse 43. The scripture tells you, for all that did cast in the abundance, but she of her once did cast in all that she had, even all her living. The action that she took of essentially giving away all her living to God is showing to God and basically screaming at him that I trust you that you're going to provide for me. I trust in your plan. I may not have enough now, but I know that this is what I can give back to you, and I know that you will give to me for me to get through whatever times I'm going through. So she was tithing from a point of humility. She wasn't concerned about how much money am I putting in there. That's not what she was concerned about. Her concern was, give my feelings to the Lord. Her concern about her tithing was, what is behind the money that I'm giving? So the question I ask to everyone today is, what is behind? What is the spirit? What is the intention behind your tithing? Are you tithing so that you can look holy? Are you tithing for your outwards Christianity? Because in that verse, there is a point of outwards Christianity. Those that were tithing much, much, much more and more and more. So they could seem very Christian. Oh, look at that guy. He's giving away so much money. She surely must be a Christian. Oh, look at that guy. He's got all these Bible verses in his bio and all these videos from giving away to the poor. Surely he must be a Christian. Surely he must have a close relationship with God. They were tithing outwards Christianity. She was tithing inward Christianity. She knew in her heart that she needed the Lord. She knew in her heart that, Lord, I need you. And I'm giving you much more than just this money, but I'm giving you my struggles. I'm giving you my humility. I'm giving you my heart. That's the intention backed behind the tithing. That's how you should tithe. When you put that money into the tithing box, into the basket of offering, whatever you have at your church, understand that you're giving much more than just money. Understand that you're saying, Lord, I'm after having a rough week here. I give it all to you. I don't care if you're tithing 1 cent. If your intention behind it is pure and you are giving away to God all these things that are on your hearts, the Lord values that more than the person that puts in 200 in the basket, but his heart is as hard as a rock. Do you get where I'm getting to here? And that's just the most important thing about fasting. About tithing, sorry. She was Like the money that she gave had a gratefulness, her sorrow, her longing for God, and all the sort of various emotions that were in her heart. And most importantly, God will provide. So the question today is, what intention is behind your tithe? Last time you gave money, last time you tithed, what intention was behind it? See, because intention matters a lot with the Lord. What was your intention? Were you tithing so that others could see how Christian you are? Were you tithing so that others can be like, oh, that guy Shady, look at how Christian he is. Look at how Christian he is, right? Is that why you were tithing, so others could say that? Or were you tithing because you wanted to give to God? Because you wanted to say, Lord, look, I'm after having a rough week. I want to give to the spread of the gospel. I want to give this tenner right here so that it can be to the spread of the gospel. For this tenner, I want to hope that someone out there who struggles with sorrowfulness like I do, or who struggles with this like I do, can be saved. Oh Lord, I give you this tenner and I give unto you my humility, my sorrows. Look, I've had a rough day, just give that to you. I put this at your feet, Lord. Because your money is useless to God. If you're not tithing like that, then what are you doing? Because at the end of the day, your money is useless to the Lord. The Lord does not need your riches. He wants your heart. Okay? The Lord doesn't need you to tithe with an empty heart. And I say this again and again and again multiple times because it's important. When you give money, when you tithe, He doesn't want your empty money. He wants money that carries something with it. That's what He wants. So the question today is, next time you tithe, are you going to tithe so that others can see how holy you are? Are you going to tithe like the hypocrites that we read about in the text today, verse 40? Or are you going to tithe like the poor old widow, giving everything to God? Every single piece and bit of your heart, just emptying it out to Him and saying, Lord, here you go. Because ultimately, if you're not doing that, then what are you doing? Have a blessed day, everyone, and I hope that this word can really help someone out there. The whole point of these videos that I make, honestly, is to help people in the walk with Christ, to help people come to Christ. And I just hope that these videos are essentially reaching that purpose. Have a blessed day, everybody.